no videos were released in November or December. I'm sorry. But here we go. The long-awaited, quote marks, Gaming Pickups 13.2. So, yeah. So, let's start with, and before I start anything really, these aren't going to be in the order of when I got them, they're going to be in order of franchise, and then franchise alphabetical order, if that makes any sense. So, we start with Die Hard Trilogy on the PS1. This is a really good game, I should say. Well, rather, I should say, trilogy of games, because they're all different. You've got Die Hard 1, which is a run and gunner. You've got Die Hard 2, which is an on-rail shooter. And then you've got Die Hard with Vengeance, which is, you know, a driving game. Well, you wouldn't have known that if you didn't play it, but it's actually rather impressive. I'm surprised how well it actually even worked as well, considering this was pre-owned and the disc is quite scratched. But yeah, really, really good. I'm not even a Die Hard fan as well, that's saying a lot. EyeToy Monkey Mania. It is an EyeToy game with the monkeys from Ape Escape for whatever reason. Not sure if there was a partnership going on, not sure if Sony owned the license to them. I had no idea. But yeah, it is an EyeToy game. Much like EyeToy Play 1, 2, and 3, it's just a collection of minigames. What more can I say? Factor Special Edition 2008. It is a racing game, and it's not been opened as you can see. However, I'm planning on trying it out later, so yeah. For now, I can't say much about it. Now, this game I can say a lot about. Family Guy Back to the Multiverse. While it is repetitive at some points, I do like it a lot. It's very reminiscent of Ratchet and Clank, however controversial that might be on Ratchet and Clank's quality, but it's still a rather good game to me anyway. I mean, you've got different levels, which, you know, you've got several different environments, all unique locations as well, which is rather impressive. And they're all rather, you know, well, probably repeating myself at this point, but it is a good game. Nice characters, because, you know, based on a TV show, based on a really good episode as well. The Road to the Multiverse episode. But again, most Road 2 episodes are the best ones in Family Guy. Dirge of Cerberus Final Fantasy VII. This is the game that was released during the Renaissance period of Final Fantasy VII, alongside Crisis Core, which I do not have. But this one I have, and it is okay. Maybe even worse than okay. I don't know. But it is a run and gunner again. It's a third-person shooter, much like Back to the Multiverse, except, you know, slower, with RPG elements. Yeah. Freedom Force. Again, I haven't tested this one, even though it isn't, you know, sealed. It is completely open. But, yeah. It is another PC game, and I will need to test it later. Also, I forgot to include Grandia 2 here. It's basically an RPG for the PC. I'm pretty sure you might have played it, so probably, maybe. Yeah, I forgot to add this here, so yeah, that's why there's a little abrupt cut there. Back to the original thing. Kohan 2, again, it's a game that I have not tested. I'm going to need to do that very, very soon. Pro Tour Golf thing. Pro 18 World Tour Golf. It is a generic golf game. What more can I say? Scribblenauts. Again, a game I can say a lot about, because this is a game that allows you to draw in, well, not draw in, but write in anything, and it most likely will appear. So you can spawn in rockets, God, Satan, fricking Velociraptor memes. Yeah, you remember those? Yeah, I remember those. Early internet was fun. Early YouTube was fun. Anyways, next game. Second Sight. Now, you may or may not have heard of this game. It is a relatively underappreciated third-person psychological game, I guess. No, it's more of an action game. But it is rather interesting. But yeah, it's got a pretty cool plot, and it's got a mix of shooting and stealth. This game is made by the people who made Time Splitters. Yeah. Free Radical. Yeah, I find it hard to describe this game, but if you haven't, then at least have a look into it. So yeah. Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. This is a rather cool game made by Beenox. Not sure you can see that well because this is a phone, but yeah, Beenox. Did you know they made the B-Movie game? That's something you can't make up. But yeah, in this game you get to play as 4 different Spider-Men. You've got 2099, Amazing, Noir, and Ultimate. It is still a rather impressive beat-em-up game. I mean, it's a little glitchy at times. It may not be the best Spider-Man game, but I rather like it. Now, on top of the pile of the next ones, we've got the Sonic Dimensions level pack from LEGO Dimensions. Yes, I did say Sonic Dimensions because that is the name of the level in the game. Now, the Sonic figure itself is rather cool. And you've got the Tornado, which is currently your crab meat. And you've got the Blue Speedster, which is now the Blue Typhoon. It is a really good level. I mean, I did say LEGO Dimensions was one of my favourite games, but now that's very different. I also have the box for this, which is up there. You may not be able to see it because it is incredibly dark. Anyways, that is that. A rather good level, I might say. Back to Spider-Man. Spider-Man Web of Shadows. Now, I was expecting this to be like the PS2 version, or PSP version as well, but this is following in the Xbox 360 version's footsteps, which is actually rather impressive for a Wii title, because most of the time when it comes to copying a game, it will repeat the lower gen version instead of staying with its current gen. Hence, Sonic Unleashed being, Sonic Unleashed on the Wii being the same as it is on PS2, and Tomb Raider Underworld. But, yeah. Web of Shadows is actually a rather fun follow-up to Spider-Man 3. I was about to pull down this game, but no, this did not come afterwards, Spider-Man 3 did. But anyways, we've got the Ultimate Spider-Man, which is based on the comic book series, and it is quite cool. It's definitely my personal favourite so far. I do prefer the graphics and visuals, etc. Well, graphics and visuals are the same thing, but I do prefer graphics, music, gameplay, even though they are rather similar in terms of gameplay. But this is my favourite Spider-Man so far. And you know what's coming up next if you probably know me a lot. What? You weren't expecting it? It's because I don't buy modern games often? Well, duh, don't buy modern games often. This is a gift. Duh. But yeah, Spyro Reignited Trilogy, I really like this game. It surprised me with how fixed it was. In terms of, it's very, very stable, which I was not expecting after the whole Spyro 2 and 3 are not on the disc, which technically they are, but they're not completely on the disc, which is rather upsetting. But I might get into that into a review, maybe into a rant, maybe, but, for now, it is what it is, and I really do like it. I've already Platinum Trophied the first game, I'm well on my way to completing the second one. And Year of the Dragon is so far untouched. So yeah. The Walking Dead game by Telltale. This is one of the games that everyone loves so much because it is, Walking Dead. I'm not a fan of The Walking Dead. However, I do like this game. It is a narrative 5-part series, or 6 if you're willing to get into the 400 Days DLC. And it is basically a really cool point and click. I mean, it's not exactly Sam Max levels of point and click, because, I mean, Telltale went from puzzles to story-based games now, but, you know, that's fine. And I shouldn't really be saying now because they're kind of dead. Rest in peace, Telltale. Hopefully, Season 3 of the Minecraft story mode will never come into fruition. Up next, Tony Hawk Ride. I should also bundle this up with Tony Hawk Shred, because they're pretty much the same game. Albeit different graphics, but that is when this thing comes into play. This is a motion-controlled skateboard without wheels, obviously, because you don't want to fall over during gameplay. And it is used during the game to control the player on screen. Bet you didn't see that coming. Wait, you did, didn't you? Yeah, I had a feeling you did. Anyways, as much as people give these games shit, I don't think they're that bad. Maybe I prefer Ride, probably because I think it's got the better soundtrack. That's right, I said it. This game has the better soundtrack. This game has Electric Feel, while this game has fricking 99 Red Balloons. The original version, that is. And why do I prefer this one? No clue. Don't know why, but maybe it's because I think Shred was underwhelming. I mean, it's also got snowboarding in there, but snowboarding was very similar to the skateboarding in this game. It was average. Up next, Tony Hawk's American Skateland. I should also probably bundle this with Tony Hawk's American Wasteland, because these are almost the same game. You've got very similar plots, same gameplay, different developers, obviously, because you've got Neversoft and Vicarious Visions. They are getting into my life everywhere. And they are really, really, really fun games. Now, obviously, American Wasteland is the open world game with no loading. And I will admit it's got flaws, but it is probably my favourite Tony Hawk game at the moment. American Skateland is very similar. It's got the same levels, and Alcatraz from Pro Skater 4 for some reason. But again, it is a really cool game. Lights Out, Walking in a Cyclone, When Worlds Collide, blah 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 lyrics. We've got Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, which is my favourite classic mode game. So you've got, Pro Skater 1, which is called Skateboarding, 2, 3, and then 4, and then the abomination that should never be mentioned. So, yeah. It is my favourite classic mode game on the PS1 exactly. I mean, I do have a soft spot for 4, and, different consoles and all that. I actually kind of like both versions, even though I don't own 4 on the PS1, but, it's something I've played before. And Pro Skater 2 is, like I said, my personal favourite on the PS1. It is basically the same as the first game, except it added manuals, it had better maps, in my opinion. This game has the better maps. I mean, downhill, as much as people like it, I don't. I don't like the straightforward maps which end as soon as you reach, the end. It's kind of an map. Same goes for all, but Pro Skater 2 removed these maps and replaced them with much better ones, all of which are more open. There's New York City, I think it was New York anyway. But yeah, you've got New York City, the Hangar, you've got Marseille, and I'm sure it's called Marseille as well. But yeah, really cool maps, really cool gameplay, and it is a nice improvement over the first game. Tony Hawk's Project 8. Now we go from what was my favourite classic game to my least favourite PlayStation 2 game. Well, least favourite Tony Hawk PlayStation 2 game anyway. I mean, this game took quite a few steps back from American Wasteland. I mean, you've got a lacking character customization, no open world. I mean, you had the open world on the 360, but this is the PS2, which was the time it was getting downgrades. Speaking of downgrades, Proving Ground on the PS2. It is more or less the inferior version, because, you know, PlayStation 2. Back to the PC, for 3 more games, but we've got Unreal Tournament 2003. This game was made by the same people who made... Yeah. It's made by Epic Games. The same people who made... that thing. However, this game pleasantly surprised me, so that's saying a lot. Warhammer 4000 Dawn of War. Again, I haven't tested this game. It's, you know, a Warhammer game, which I've never been a big fan of, but I'm willing to give it a shot anyway. And the final game, Yu-Gi-Oh! Online Phase 1. Server down, which I am not surprised, but you know, it's a nice collectible, so I'm still keeping it. And that is everything. That was a lot to get through, and it was satisfying. It was satisfying to get this finished. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, maybe a share, and I will see you in the next video. See ya.